stock in focus is Techno. The company has taken the first step towards exiting the wind power business by initiating the sale of wind assets totaling 44.5 megawatts from their total portfolio of 207 megawatts. PP Gupta, the MD of the company, now joins in. Hi, Mr. Gupta. Thanks very much for joining in. First up, can you take us through the rationale behind this sale? Is it just that you intend now to focus solely on T&D?
Yeah, you see, our core competency is more in transmission and distribution sector, and we have built more than 50% of this sector countrywide, including power grid. Even recently, we have bagged new businesses worth more than 800 crores in this segment in last 2-3 months. So we don't feel that, generation or renewable generation fits in our core competency. So we gradually want to exit this space to have money to focus on boom projects in transmission space.
Hi, Mr. Gupta. Afternoon. We know that the consideration for this sale is 215 crore. But can you tell us what were the total investments that you made in developing, this 44.5 megawatts of wind asset, and therefore, compared to that, what the profit has been?
Our investment in these assets was about 210 crore, and we bought it about 5-6 years back. So more or less we could exit at the value we had purchased about 6 years back. So obviously it is around 1.2 times the book value.
So what will this money be used for?
We'll be deploying this money in the boom projects of transmission sector, as I said earlier.
Right.
There are, as only yesterday's media, the CTU is being separated from power grid, and 100,000 crores worth projects are being in the pipeline for bidding. So we want to prepare for that space.
Does the company have any debt, and would any of this 215 crore of money be used for repaying your debt?
No, this money is not required to pay any debt. The debt in the books of the company is only about 350 crores, which are all long-term ECBs and tied up with IFC and reputed foreign banks to be repaid over next 7 to 8 years.
So Techno along with its arm will still be left over with about 150 megawatts, right, if I'm not wrong. Could there be any further sale on the cards as well?
Yeah, we are looking for complete exit in this space, and we are talking to few interested parties. Very shortly you may hear about it.
What are the total wind assets that you're left with, and will the sale be in a piecemeal fashion?
No, hopefully not. We love to exit as a whole of the subsidiary, given the choice. The capacity left with us is about 163 megawatt, out of which about 45 megawatt is in the parent company, and balance about 119 or 18 megawatt is in the subsidiary. So maybe it happens in two parts, or
sorry. So for this particular transaction, your implied realization stands at about 4.8 crores per megawatt. But, some of the brokerages are indicating that perhaps with the leftover assets, you could see higher realization still. Is there any sort of ballpark figure that you could be working with?
There is no number predetermined, but definitely it ought to be better than we have achieved in sale of 44 megawatt, because the leftover family of these assets is new and very recently built by us in very rich wind pockets, and the very PLF without grid challenges, we could achieve more than 28% plus. So these are excellent assets for anybody focused in this business.
Okay, just for a realistic assumption, do you think that the realization of the remaining assets would be, say, in excess of 6 crore per megawatt? And secondly, do you think this the pending stake sale will happen in FY16 itself?
You see, the sector is changing so rapidly, and so is the very sentiment in the sector. The present government is focused on renewables. They are talking of capacities like 250 gigawatt over next 7 years. And given the reforms in the pipeline, if they happen, realizing this kind of sale value should not be a huge challenge. Right. But may take 5-6 months. We need to have a national policy on renewables and how it can be made on ISTS basis rather than on intrastate basis presently. So the sector is progressing for exciting reforms. Rather, the whole power sector is heading for exciting and sustainable and stable reforms. And I'm sure, it is being done in a very sensible way.
All right, Mr. Gupta, we'll leave it at that. Thanks very much for sharing those details with us. So the rest of the wind assets that's left with the company, which is about 160 megawatts, could be on, it's on the block for sure, but we could see some bit of finalization in terms of the sale in the next few months.